Um, uh, okay, so hold on a second. Typically, it's all over my screen. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining. This is our episode 50 of Captive Conversations Live. Little rules of the show, if possible. If you can all mute yourself if you're not talking, that'd be wonderful. So, and then Chris has disappeared on us. I'm not live. I am live. Oh, no. It's a 2-minute delay. Sorry, just been told that we're not live, but we are live. So there's a buffer just in case something goes wrong. So Chris is back. But anyway, welcome everyone. Welcome to episode 50. Thank you for coming. I've called this the Big Conversation, the live hospitality podcast, where ops meets marketing, loyalty, data, and guest experience. I'm going to go in the chat. So we should be live on LinkedIn and YouTube. So you're all very famous, which is very exciting. So we're just going to go through who everyone is. So I'm going to let I'll point each one out if you like, because you're probably different on each one of the screen, and then you can do a little intro of who you are, what you do, where you're from, and let's do a hot take or challenge that you see in hospitality right now. So should we start with Chris because he's in the car? And he's gone. Done. Okay. So let's start with Tommy, if we can.
I can still hear him though. Hi, I'm Tommy. I'm the head of restaurant systems for Honest Burgers. Welcome back, Chris. Been with Honest for the last 11 years and in hospitality for the last 20. My hot take on ops and marketing, I think there's no lack of data in general. It's what we do with the data and how we use it that is usually the problem.
Thank you very much. Okay, let's move back to Chris.
Am I here?
Yeah.
Hi there. I'm Chris. Oh, sorry. I'm Chris Fletcher, founder and CEO of Tech on Toast. I'm parked in the lay-by in Wales. If you're wondering where I am, it's weird. And to copy Tommy, I think what we need is one single point of truth for all of our data.
Love that. Okay, let's move on to Lucy.
Hello. I'm going to have to remember to unmute myself. So I'm Lucy Cunningham, a very newly sales director at 1to5 Data and Insights, which was previously known as Feed It Back. And my hot take, I would say, probably is tech overload. I think, which is probably not what you're meant to say on this podcast, but hey ho. But I think there's loads of solutions out there that there is a solution for absolutely everything nowadays. And unless you've got that sort of support, understanding, expertise of what your business needs, it's hard to cut through all that noise. There's just so many options. But most importantly, that it just delivers an ROI. So I think that's probably a challenge at the moment.
Thank you very much. Okay, let's move on to Gemma.
Hello, everyone. My name's Gemma. I work with Tommy at Honest Burgers. I look after all of the digital marketing, and I've worked in hospitality for 10 years now, covering web, SEO, PPC, CRM and loyalty, social media delivery. And my hot take is really about using customer data to enhance the customer experience. Something that we don't have at Honest is sort of bookings and linking customers back to an email to understand their customer behavior. We are in the final stages of launching loyalty, so apologies if I reference that a lot this podcast, but yeah, that's coming soon, and I think that's going to allow us to really improve the customer experience using their data.
I'm very excited for it because there's one round corner from my office. So let's go to Lawrence next.
Hi, I'm Lawrence. I represent Lead in the UK. Actually now in Amsterdam, but I'm in London about 50% of my time. About a hot take, I think I agree with Tommy, is that there's not a guest data problem, really. I think it has to do with data activation. Like, it has a data activation problem. So I think people are walking in every day, especially in London. It's so busy, everything's mental. But brands need to turn those visits into relationships a little bit more. But yeah, here to help.
Thanks, Lawrence. Let's do David Bird.
Hello. I'm David Bird. I'm the sales director at Impact Data. We help brands use data to generate more revenue for their business. Gemma's one of our customers. So hello, Gemma. And my hot take at the moment is the rise of what we refer to as stealth loyalty. So not every business needs loyalty or certainly has a loyalty program, but talking about the theme of access to data and the prevalence of data, lots of businesses are using that data to run what we call stealth loyalty, where the customer doesn't necessarily know that they're part of a program as such, but they're being rewarded for their behavior with surprise and delight campaigns, which is having a real positive effect on redemption. So that's quite an interesting area of work for us at the moment.
Okay, thanks. Let's do William next. And unmute yourself before we go. Oh, shall I do it?
Sorry, I was talking
There
on
we
mute. Oh, terrible. Eh?
I was trying to find you to unmute
Yeah.
yourself. Unmute so I can sort of do it.
No, it's cool. My name is William Connors. I'm right now a consultant, formerly of Wingstop, Oaxaca, Popeyes, and some other well-known brands. And my hot take is just to do more with less, because right now there's every single restaurant is trying to deal with less labor, more costs, less footfall. So I always think that with great adversity breeds innovation, and it's great to be on today speaking to these innovators.
Thank you very much. Let's go on to Elliot.
Hi, I'm Elliot. I'm the general manager of 1 Lombard Street in Bank. And I think my hot take is trying to change the mindset of certain white tablecloth restaurants to be a little bit more innovative in using tech in a really good way and trying to get tech stacks to talk to each other, which Lawrence and I spend a lot of time talking about.
Awesome. Okay, thank you very much. That's really interesting, and I love all the hot takes. We're going to quickly pop in segment 1, which is what's broken between ops and marketing. And feel free to jump in, or I can go to each one. But the questions or the prompts I'm having here really are: what creates friction between ops and marketing teams today? What do you wish the other side understood better? And where is data getting lost or underused in your business? And I've put my little goal, which is a good term actually, because it says get honest. There you go. Good point. Good pun. About the gaps, not blaming, just naming. So if anyone wants to go first, feel free to unmute and go ahead. Or shall I point? Let's do. Oh, there you go. There goes Chris.
You should have agreed who's going first. Go
on, Tommy.
Well,
go on, Tommy. You go. I'm going to shut up.
Okay. That'd be nice. I think my perception is I've worked with ops for a long long time. So I've been on the ops side, and I work very closely with marketing in my current job, doing all the tech stuff related to anything they do. I think what's broken between ops and marketing, it's almost they speak a different language to some extent, and it's for marketing to understand the impact of anything they come up with on the ops. When marketing is often talking about conversions or campaigns, on the ops side is more labor cost and do we have enough people or looking for covers and things like that. So often there's a miscommunication or lack of understanding of the intent behind the campaign and the lack of planning in terms of getting the workforce ready or making sure the site can actually handle the additional influx of customers or booking or anything that would be part of that campaign.
Great. Do you want to go next, Chris?
Yeah, I was just a very similar thing. I spent most of my life in operations, and I think it's about shared objective, right? So an understanding what you're both trying to achieve. Working in busy restaurants is a bloody nightmare, and as everybody said already, it's chaos. Most of the time organized chaos, right? But it is chaos. And I think just having regular check-ins, understanding what the end end goal might be for a marketing campaign, or even for an operational headaches we're having or bottlenecks we're feeling, that it's just shared. And often, like any relationship, a shared problem halves it. So for me, it's very simple. I'm trying to be the non-techie person today. So yeah, trying to go back to really what was the original goal, why are we doing it, and how are we going to get there without upsetting each other. I've worked with lots of great marketing people, and they probably work with lots of awful ops people.
Should we pop over to Gemma? That'd be interesting to hear the other side.
Yeah, I won't take that as a dig, Tommy. So maybe I should take some notes. No, I think overall, I think we work really well together. But there's definitely occasions where we might have to turn something on quite quickly, and it needs to obviously be briefed in ops. Ops need time. They need to look at labor. They need to look at forecasting stock. And so that's where things can maybe fall down slightly, is if you've got a bit of a patchy sales period where you need to sort of from the top down marketing, what can you do, but then make sure that ops are comfortable and can handle whatever we're going to what levers we're going to pull. So yeah, I guess that can be tricky. So it's making sure, like you said, Chris, that we've got really strong communication, regular check-ins. We've got monthly op meetings where the marketing will go in and make sure and present what's happening. We can have a really good roundtable discussion about any feedback or ideas to change those up.
Thanks for that. Oh, Lorenzo's got his hand up. Oh, go for it.
Yeah, so maybe it's a bit British, but you're very tough on yourself. And to be honest, I think hospitality is doing quite well, because we've been doing this for like 10 years now, hospitality, loyalty, and the adoption and awareness has never been this high. It's like exponential. It can always be better. But look at these brands. Look at Humble Burger. Look at Elliot, what he's doing with Lombard Street. It's pretty cool. And it's kind of we're catching up with, because we work with retail and e-commerce as well, we're really catching up now. And it has to do with everybody knows they want to change, they want to improve. So I think it can always be better, but I think we're doing quite a good job already.
Elliot, go for it.
I think one of the things with like marketing and restaurants is that the marketing term, I think, is purple cow. You've got to like stand out from the crowd and be seen to be different. And with that, you know, the primary function of a restaurant will always be to serve food, drink, and deliver good service. So finding a purple cow gets harder and harder and harder. And so you end up flogging something that actually you moving away from what your core product is. And that's one of the things that, you know, people certainly in pubs and other restaurants will do Fish and Chip Friday or something like that. You know, sometimes it's about going, hey, we can offer this amazing experience. And I think one of the things we try and ascertain is going, right, okay, if we're going to send out the hook and try and get someone in, that's going to be landing, but then the product behind it is going to be the thing that stands. For example, it's a proper steal of Bruto, but we do £5 cocktails on a Friday. That gets people in, that breaks down the sort of force-filled barrier that sometimes being in bank and looking at a very, you know, white tablecloth restaurant is, and gets people that wouldn't normally come in, and then that fulfills in that way. So it's like what Lawrence is saying. I think you know, people are being very hard on themselves, because at the end of the day, you know, finding a purple cow every single time you do a marketing campaign is sometimes very tricky.
I'm going to pop to Lucy actually, because it's an interesting one, because it's sort of Lucy's now in a mix of ops and marketing-ish with the new role. So it'd be interesting to hear what you think.
Yeah, I think putting my feedback hat on, that I think there's kind of like a lack of feedback loop. It's really hard to see on the ground realities in a business and understand guest issues and everything that might mean that, you know, certain things don't necessarily get factored into the marketing campaign when you're refining it and getting that brand message read. It's pretty much impossible to be everywhere all the time, especially in a multi-site business. But I think it's really important that marketers do spend some time, and I know so many do, spend some time in the venue so they can see how the guests interact, see what's actually going on the ground. But, you know, that's kind of what technology out there is there to help with now. It's to kind of amalgamate all of that data and then make sense of it and allow you to then use that information to refine those campaigns and make sure it's not going to overwhelm the ops team.
Love it. Let's go, David.
So as a tech provider, we sit slightly outside of this, but I do agree with Tommy. Sometimes ops and marketing is speaking slightly different languages, and for that, there's obviously ways in which you can address that with communication and better comms and more structure. But what I've seen has been successful from my side of the table is we had a large, it was a high street gaming company we used to work with many years ago, and their marketing director at the time, we would work with them on the approach, but then he arranged seminars with their ops teams. So he would actually leverage the tech provider, myself, to come in, explain to ops, what are we doing? This is why we're doing it, and also this is how it benefits you. And so by doing that, getting the ops team on the side, it just meant for a more cohesive approach, and there was a lot of wins there. So I think that's quite important to do. If you're an operator and you've got tech people working with you, yes, they've got a product that they've provided, but they're also experts, right? They can also add that extra level of support to help maintain that platform through the business, help make sure it's effective, because obviously if they're not doing that, then there's a chance of churn. So we're all quite eager to get in front of the relevant people that we need to speak to make sure that everybody's happy, right? So that was quite a good example of bringing the two sides closer together.
I'll book you in for next week, David.
Sorry?
I'll book you in for next week.
Yeah, okay. I have to get another hotel room in London then for an extra night. No problem.
You have to stand up in front of the group, in the whole company, yeah?
That's fine by me. Yeah, no problem.
Okay, William, it's an interesting one because you actually cross market. You sort of like blur the lines across everything when it comes to that part as well, right? Because it's not just a tech piece. So
exactly, and that's leads to a point that I'm keen to make, is to remove the silos, because people are always saying this is marketing and leave me to deal with operations, but you have to remind them that there's common goals, and the goal is that you want to make sure the customer has a fantastic experience, not only for now, but that you apply the marketing so they come back again and again, and that way, you're feeding into each other, but sometimes that can get lost.
I love it. I think that's everyone. Okay. Wow, that went a bit smoother than I thought. So, okay, we're going to go on to the next piece, which is basically the data we need. And my little prompts that we sent was, what guest data do you actually use? What do you wish you had? Loyalty POS, bookings, Wi-Fi. What's gold and what's noise, which I quite like that bit. And how can ops action marketing data without needing another meeting, which is a difficult one. So I think I'm going to go Chris this one, actually, because you can go first.
Yeah, just in case I drop out again. Really interesting and quite relevant to the news. And I think William shared the other day. I mean, I'm just going to jump straight to the data we need or we don't have.
Oh, he's gone. We can't hear you. Oh, you're back. Oh, he's gone. Oh dear. Well, I'll tell you what, let's jump to that. Let's jump to William. That'd be a good one to start with, to be fair.
Yeah, well, I think what he was alluding to is like a lot of times, like for delivery, it's you have no insight into who that customer is, and it's completely disconnected from the in-restaurant person. So the thing is hopefully with Deliveroo, there'll be actually a better connection of whether that person is in your restaurant or doing click and collect or delivery. But that's a key thing is most restaurants want better insights into their delivery market.
Cool. Do you want to jump on, Chris?
I can't hear Chris. Are we meant to be able to hear
Hold
Chris?
on a second. Sorry, apologies. Let me see if I can unmute you, because we can hear you, but I'm not sure if it's everyone else can hear you. It does say you're mute. Do you want to jump out and back in again? Thanks, Chris. He can't tell. Okay, let's go, Tommy.
What was the question again? I got distracted by Chris coming in and out.
That's all right. It was basically what guest data do you actually use? what do you wish you had? Loyalty, POS, bookings, Wi-Fi, what's gold and what's noise? And the other one, which is probably more towards you, is how can ops action marketing data without needing another meeting?
No, I think in terms of ops, what kind of data would be useful to use at site level, at floor level. I think having a way to identify customers as they walk into the restaurant would be extremely powerful. Understanding if it's someone that comes often, if it's someone that visits other branches quite often, but is there for the first time. I think having some kind of understanding of who you're serving to better adapt the service and the approach would be amazing. But that requires, and I don't know how, that requires somehow for the customer to identify themselves in a seamless way without having to log in or tell us who they are. But I leave that to the loyalty people on the call to figure out.
So let's jump over to David, because that's an interesting one actually.
Sorry, for a brief moment, I forgot how to unmute myself, even though I've done it about 5 times earlier today. So this is, I guess, this is more of an operator question set specifically, I think. But in terms of just on the theme of bringing ops and marketing closer together and not having to have meetings and being aware of what each other's doing, I had a gem from one of our team, our head of sales and marketing in Melbourne, Sarah Franklin, the other day, and she was talking about businesses that are doing things like loyalty. She was saying that for front of house and ops to engage with that and make sure it's effective, every member of staff in the venue needs to be able to describe the loyalty program in less than 10 seconds. If it takes more than 10 seconds for them to describe, well, there's enough complexity in that program that the staff members are going to forget how it works, and also the customer's not going to have a clue how it works either, right? So this comes back to just making sure that the marketing program is mapped out so that it can then be easily translated to the ops team, and then make sure that the key deliverables of the program that ops need to engage with are as simple as possible, so it's got the easiest transfer effect onto the customer for the highest engagement. So I think that's really important. I just like that bit, can your member of staff describe your loyalty program and encourage someone to sign up to it in 10 seconds or less? Because we've seen loyalty programs where it's like, sign up, get this, do this, buy this many things, get this, get these many points for this. And it's like, what? I don't care. I'm only in here to pay for my sandwich. I will join your loyalty program if there's a benefit, but I need to know that this is of value to me instantly, So that's really important. So that's about bringing the two teams closer together.
And let's pop on to Elliot.
So I think the thing with collecting sort of data is one, getting it all for us is getting all of our systems to talk. So if you're gathering data on dietaries and then putting it onto the cover, getting that from your booking CRM across onto your EPOS systems, and then people can do that seamlessly. I think that's quite important. But I think the biggest thing is data is only good if you're getting a product out of it, right? And so the way that we would always use data is to, one, create consistency. So consistency in financial planning, consistency in service. So whether it be our steps of service or whatever it may be, and then also learning from that. What does the guest journey look from, even when they're outside of the restaurant? How does that come through, and how can we make it better? Are we losing anyone? Are we losing anyone on the website and not capturing it in the correct way? And how can we get a better retention on that, getting people to turn around, come back? And I think the question's always got to be is, what is the data going to be used for? Because as said earlier, we've all got the data. It's not really like it's lacking. The big point is actually putting it into practice and make sure it's useful. And what your product from that is going to be. Is it consistency, such as myself, or are you looking for exponential growth? And in that way, then you're going to have sort of niches within that. I think it's just quite important, I think, in that aspect, to really sort of look at it. And then I think, the other point of it is, for me at the moment, is the biggest problem that tech has got is trying to get different companies to talk to each other, and getting that data across, because the fear of, everyone knows data is the most valuable bit. So there's a big fear of opening up APIs so that people can access and input and access. And I think that will consistently and constantly be the problem until we move beyond it, because the customer gets frustrated and annoyed that they can't get all of their systems talking, which currently can happen with certain providers, but not others.
I'm just going to ask a quick question, actually, because obviously the merger with Seven Rooms and DoorDash and Deliveroo, what's your take on that data being merged?
I mean, I think, for us, obviously, we use Seven Rooms, and our Seven Rooms data is unbelievably big. So we've got something like 370,000 people on email sign up for one single site restaurant, which is insane, like absolutely mad. And then opted in on marketing on that is a conversion of roughly 60%, which is amazing. My fear with something like DoorDash is, again, what are they going to, the merger of that is, where is our data going to go from that? Because that's our biggest source of difference to any other independent restaurant within that area. And that hasn't been made particularly clear as of yet.
Awesome. Let's pop over to Lucy.
Hello. Kind of pulling a little bit on what you've just said, Elliot, and also what you said at the beginning, Tommy. There's so much data out there, but actually it's not the data that's the problem. It's how to use it and how to actually action it. I think two really obvious things that come to mind when it comes to how to not have another meeting is actually let your ops team have access to the profiles that you have about your customers' preferences. So whether that flashes up on the booking system or whether it flashes up via some kind of internal app or the EPOS perhaps, but actually having visibility over when someone's looking at the bookings for that day, they can have a look and see, okay, well, this person's coming in because it's their birthday, or this person is a vegetarian. Actually, the last time they visited, this person actually left a negative review, and this is an opportunity for us to try and win them back. So just that kind of preference view would be brilliant, I think, for an ops team to have. And another thing that we're doing at 125 is a daily summary, which I genuinely think is fantastic. It's pulling together all that really granular detail that we capture about customers' feedback and reviews, both online and through surveys and basically everywhere. And just giving your ops team, your GM, whoever it is that might action these things, just a daily summary in an email with 3 top things to do that day. And the idea is it's just 3 things that if you action those 3 things, you're going to be moving your business in the right direction. You're going to be improving it. You're going to be improving your NPS, your customer experience, your reputation online, everything that comes with that, rather than it being just this overarching, overwhelming kind of ability to go into a dashboard and not quite know where you're going. It is just really actionable insights. And I think that is something that means less meetings and more action.
There you go. I think the reporting piece is really important, and lots of people don't have time. I think that's a challenge right now. I think we speak to a lot of people, they all say, if I have 17 different dashboards to log into, but if you can generate me a report, then something they can take action from there. So I think that's really nice to see. Let's pop over to Gemma.
Sure. So kind of linking back to what Elliot was saying about sort of having a good having your databases and things talk to each other. So having like a really solid tech stack that integrate with each other will allow you to use the data that you get in an effective way and to change customer behavior, improve customer experience. So, I think where you kind of said what's gold and what's noise, they're all gold if they speak to each other. And we're looking to launch loyalty and be able to have that unique identifier so that that customer can identify them as a customer, which then pulls in data to our CRM system from bookings and Wi-Fi, and from POS as well, so that we're looking at customer spend, customer frequency, and using things. We're going to be using things with TalkBox, like their AI machine learning to, once we've got enough data in the system, we can look at, their expected next visit date. So in a non-creepy way, if someone is visiting X amount of times on an X frequency, how can we then, if they drop off that and start lapsing, how can we then, loop back in CRM and loyalty to pull them back into their regular behavior, I guess. So it's about having a good tech stack in place to be able to talk to each other, to then push the marketing out across multiple different channels.
Thank you. I'm going to pop over to Lawrence. We can have a chat about his platform, how that works, if you like, and answer those questions.
Yeah, I won't go in depth on the platform, but these are conversations we're having daily, right, Adam? I think for a brand to have loyalty actually work for you, you need to be able to add value to each individual customer. That's most important, because if you're able to do that, you create reciprocity. So, and reciprocity just means I give you something, I get something from you, I want to give something in return. So knowing someone's spend alone, that's not enough. You need to know, hey, is someone living in the area? What's his favorite product? Are we missing him for a while? What tier is he in? Does he have any dietary preference? And if you collect all these data, it becomes magical, because then you can introduce a loyalty program that feels personal for maybe even 100,000 to 1 million customers. So you need to be able to segment. You need to be able to create a unique experience, and that's what we do. So even if you're a staff member and you work at, let's say, wherever Atis or Sushi Dog or Humble, whatever, you work at any of these brands, you have a completely different experience than a person that works next to your location, that buys lunch every day. It's a completely different experience. So I think the power is in that.
Awesome. Let's pop over to William.
Yeah, no, it's very exciting. One thing that I think is a key metric is focus and precision. So from an operations side, you could give some directions, but if you feel that those directions don't apply to that specific restaurant, you're not going to have the same amount of impact. The same thing with a customer. If you think you're just getting this spray of connections and it doesn't have anything that they can identify with, then it loses the power. So going for operations, it's great to be very focused on that specific site, because as many people know, one restaurant in Birmingham is not going to be the same as Soho, is not going to be the same as Edinburgh. So if the better, more focused quality information you can give to that site, the better it'll be retained.
Awesome, thank you. I think we've got a little quick poll. And my quick poll here is, what's the most underused data source today? So there's lots of different options, but I'm just interested to hear from each of you. So I'll start with on my screen. Let's start with Lawrence. What do you think is the most unused data source today?
Products, and not product groups, like specific products. I'm not gonna tell everybody that we're gonna launch that in a couple of weeks, or maybe I just did. But imagine just buying 10 products from one site, right? Just one. You buy your lunch and some drinks and everything, 10 products, and you can engage with each product individually. So you have a vegan month, you reward double for that product. And you might buy a drink that is containing zero alcohol, or maybe a health product that triggers a voucher to try another product as well in the same category. I think that's going to be magical as well. So products are being underused in hospitality massively, and we're going to steal all these ideas from e-commerce, and we're going to implement them for hospitality. And I think that could be that. What's the name, Elliot? The purple elephant?
Purple cow for you, my friend.
The purple cow.
It could be a purple elephant, it's fine. Let's pop on to Gemma. We can make it quick if you like.
Yeah, I would probably say POS for us at the moment, just because we don't have that unique identifier. And as soon as we bring in loyalty, you're then matching that up to a customer.
Amazing. Let's go to Lucy. I know what you're going to say.
I'm going to say feedback. But I actually do genuinely say that with a reason behind it. I think there's so much insight about your business, what training's required for the team, what dishes are underperforming, what the atmosphere is like, how loud is your music, is the temperature of the chicken too dry or hot or whatever. You get like a full 360 view of how your customer experience is performing. And fundamentally, if you get that right, customers come back, you get an extra customer once every per year, perhaps, you increase the loyalty with your brand, and ultimately you get this array of promoters of your business. So I do genuinely think it's data that is completely untapped sometimes, not in all businesses, but there's a lot of opportunity.
Awesome. Let's pop on to David.
Hello. So I would agree with Lawrence, actually. A lot of businesses are underusing product level data. Sometimes it's because of lack of access to it, and sometimes it's lack of, well, what do we do with it if we've got all this granular level of information? So, and that's something we're working on with Gemma and Vita Mojo. So Vita Mojo is one of our partners. We're doing the loyalty with the Gemma, and part of the phase 2 of that is we're building a silo for this customer data, that transactional level data that we can pull through and start to help do some of the things that Lawrence was talking about there, because I think that's a huge area. And you're right, Lawrence, e-commerce have been doing it super well for super long, and it's time that we can bring some of that to hospitality, so that, and also I agree with Lucy. I mean, secondly, there are some amazing feedback platforms out there. I know 125 Insights, I keep calling it Feed It Back, but 125 Insights fairly well. We integrate with them as well. And there's the insights that those platforms can deliver. Just sometimes I think they're just slept on a little bit. It's there, it's easy to get, and it can be super powerful for making change within the business.
Awesome. Let's go to Tommy.
Well, I've got to be aligned with David and Gemma, because obviously I'm in the middle of it as well. So yeah, in my opinion, it's getting your post data, so understanding what people are buying and connecting that with who they actually are. That's key for us. We haven't got that, and I think it will be very powerful once we have everything connected.
Awesome. What do you think, William?
I agree. I mean, as soon as you can connect the person with their habits, their visits, how much they're spending, what's their favorite item, and also to what could they possibly have that they're not having now, it's pure gold. Now, the thing is it's just, it always seems to be that we're kind of one step behind that. It always seems to be coming, and then it hasn't yet arrived, but hopefully it will be. But just recognizing Lucy with feedback, that's another thing that's actually much more attainable. And I think it's such a strong tool to have feedback, not only of the basket connected dishes, but also to your staff. So if you're getting feedback on the staff and you know who it is, then all of a sudden the staff immediately start trying harder, because they know that they're being recognized for positive and negative.
I think that's awesome. Let's go on to Elliot.
Be boring if I agreed with everyone, wouldn't it? So I think for me, I think first and foremost, the most important thing is location. Okay, and we're a single site, and so if we have a magical week and everything's perfect, there's great consistency and we're all good, then the most important thing for us, and it's what had the biggest wins, is where is your guest coming from. Therefore you can target it with marketing and you can pump your money in that way. So a great example for us, because we're in the City of London, on the weekends it's notoriously dead and you can't get it. We have got we're a single site, and we're open 12 till 6 on Saturday, and I make 12.5 grand. And the way that I do that is I go, these are the people that are coming from outside of London as day tourists to the city, give them a reason to visit with the offer and whatnot, and be a little bit difficult and sprout your purple cows. And then you then target that with tracking data, effectively saying, right, okay, they've jumped onto the Wi-Fi. We're going to plug a little bit of captive Wi-Fi for you. When one of the leading questions for it is, what postcode have you come from? So only first 3 letters that you need to put in. And from that, I can then go, right, these people are coming from Chelmsford, these people are coming from there, rather than scattergunning my my social media approach. So I think for me, it's about location, if consistency and everything like that is there. If you're in a business that's going through a transformation, you want to drive your feedback scores up, and et cetera, or you want to refine certain bits, then of course all the other bits are important. But for me, the biggest thing is location.
Thank you. I'm a little bit biased, so my mine is obviously going to be Wi-Fi. So that'll I won't go into it more. But okay, we're going to go on to the next segment, which is pretty interesting actually, because it's we're talking about loyalty and first-party data. So one of the things I really like to talk about here, obviously, is what does modern loyalty look like as things are changing. Are we still rewarding on spend, or are we building relationships? Because we speak to a lot of people about, I don't want to give points, but I want to build a community. So it's a really interesting conversation on that one. And then obviously, can Wi-Fi play a role in that journey? Hey, and then the other really interesting thing is what's your take on silent guests who never sign up? Because I'm super interested to hear what everyone's thought process on that, because there is so much of that data that could be taken, but they just either don't do it or don't sign up or so on. So I'm going to start with David on that one, if that's okay.
Nice one. Yeah, so some modern loyalty for us, certainly for the end user, the customer, it's got to be simple and fast, like we were talking about before. Got to be immediately clear what the value is, and obviously there's ways and mechanics you can use for that. Points based versus stamp based. That's an ongoing debate. We can probably have that another time. That'll probably take the rest of the session up. But in terms of are we still rewarding spend or building relationships? Well, the loyalty program is your method by which you're building the relationship, and the way that you incentivize the relationship and grease the wheels, as it were, would be rewarding spend, right? So what we mean by spend sounds a little bit tacky, right? You're sort of bribing someone to spend some money with you. Well, you're not doing that. The end goal is you're getting more revenue, right? You're getting more revenue off the customer. The way to do that and deliver that is through the relationship, and the way you deliver that is through the loyalty program, which is all about making sure that you're clear on the value. You're making sure the customer knows what part of the loyalty program they are currently in, and what part is upcoming, and what the next threshold means to them, and just making sure that you're using that program to make sure you're staying top of mind effectively. But yeah, the loyalty program is the building the relationship part, and by doing that, you're incentivizing visits, which is going to increase your revenue. In terms of can guest Wi-Fi play a role in loyalty? No, I don't think so. I think it's got no place in the loyalty program whatsoever. No. In all honesty, yeah, of course. For us, it's an amazing source of customer data. So data comes through to TalkBox. Then we have automations that we call them member nurture campaigns. So we're basically encouraging that customer to, as they've been on the Wi-Fi, sign up to loyalty. So you're a good source of filling that bucket for us. And then in terms of silent guests, you can take a horse to water, but you can't make it drink, right? So we just accept that, if you've got 100 customers, I don't know, 40 of them are going to sign up to your database in some way, the 60 are not, and that's fine, right? That's fine. What we need to make sure is the people that are signing up, we look after them, and that comes down to the platforms you're using, the communication strategy, not abusing the privilege that you've been given by that customer, by them giving you their data, acknowledging that you're respectful and it's beneficial to them. But silent guests, I mean, others might have a different view. I'm super keen to hear, because I'd be interested to hear. But yeah, we just have to accept that those people are just not going to be in a database. But then it comes back to making sure that ops look after them. If you've got people that are not in your database, then ops needs to be on the ball to make sure that the experience that they're getting from your venue, if they're not experiencing it offline or through a loyalty program or anywhere else, their only experiences in the venue, then ops need to be all over that to make sure that they come back. So I think that's my take on that question.
I think Lawrence has got his hand up.
Yeah, so David, you said something interesting, I think in the beginning of this session, which was that loyalty should be almost invisible. So I kind of agree with that. I don't think it's about a shiny app, or if it's point-based or stamp-based or anything. I think it should almost be invisible. And I think me and Adam have discussion about this all the time, about almost touchless loyalty, which you see in like big hotel chains like the Four Seasons. It should be something personal and also very channel agnostic. So you want everything to work everywhere, as if it's one thing, and really based on you. So I think the modern loyalty for me is that, like, really personalized and almost invisible, and not depending on a specific feature or a gadget. That's my point. That's how I think modern loyalty is about.
Awesome. Let's go to Gemma.
Yeah, I think when people first think about loyalty, they think of the coffee stamp cards that you've got in your wallet, and that's how it really started. And I think now with modern loyalty, we are able to put tech behind it. And you've got a stamp card or points, and they know what they're getting, etc. But then, similar to what Lawrence and David are saying, you're able to do the kind of stealth or hidden loyalty behind that. So you're able to follow their consumer patterns and behavior and spend, and then set up various different automations through your CRM and triggered emails and things like that to kind of push them through the journey without just saying, oh, you don't get a stamp until your 6th visit, or you don't get a reward, sorry, until your 6th visit. You can do that stealth behind based on the tech that we've got available. And I think I previously worked for Hawksmoor, and it's something that didn't feel right for the brand is having a stamp card or having that, loyalty app or whatever. So when you've got a more premium brand, the tech is now allowing you to use the data that you're getting from bookings and customer behavior, and then using that product data, can you do a bit what we call OSH, old school hospitality, offering things here and there, and that's the kind of tech is allowing that modern loyalty to do more now.
Awesome. Should we pop to Tommy?
I agree with everything that Gemma just said. I don't have much to add to it apart from the offers we send to our customers need to be nowadays like super or hyper personalized, based exactly on who you are and what you eat, and it's all about segmentations and making sure that you just don't send a blank email to everyone, one fit all. And I think it's important also to reward intent, not just spend. You may have someone that comes in and buy the smallest, the cheapest thing on the menu, but they come every single week. And those guys matter almost most than the person that will come once a month and spend a lot. It's all about rewarding loyalty and building a relationship more than just a box ticking exercise of loyalty.
Oh, there we go. Couldn't get myself off mic. Let's do William.
Yeah, no, I mean, loyalty has changed so much in the past few years. There's so many companies before that were just trying to give discounts. And the thing is it's a very slippery slope from which it's difficult to recover from. I think now people want positive experiences and interactions, and also too values are very much underestimated. Like there's some fantastic brands out there, like my former group Oaxaca. I mean, people identify with conserving and caring for the environment and all these different things, or Wingstop, where you're with the hip hop and the music and like all that is something that if you like it, then you're going to want more and more. And so you need to define your audience and find a way to feed your audience for them to feed you back.
I love that. Should we pop to Elliot?
I think sort of like marry everything together. I think like effortless loyalty, sort of the fact that when you walk through the door, you know the synergy between your tech, whether it goes onto your EPOS saying returning customer, and then you could also and you build out from that is really sort of key. And I think one of the things that we're desperately trying to do with Lawrence, with Captive, with a load of other parts of the tech stack, is to get it so that there is as little effort for the customer as possible. And when they're here, they're actually there for the experience, not like, right, okay, you need to sign up to this, you need to get your card out, you need to then have it scanned. It's just horrible. And the more touch points are on it, the more your staff aren't going to do it, and therefore they're not going to back it. So one of the key bits that I think Lawrence and I have chatted at quite length about this is getting it to such a really clean, slick, automated way. And then when it's delivered, it's really nice. It's like, oh, hey, by the way, you've got a free bottle of wine. you've done 30 visits over the course of the year. Just, here you go. It's nice. It's an extra garnish. And I think the thing is loyalty and is the cherry on the cake. It's that little bit that you do as a restaurant or as a business that is completely different to any other sort of, feeling, because you're dealing with feeling and experience and emotions to a certain place. People go to a place because it makes them feel good. They also like the thing that comes in, and they come in for the food and the drink and the service. That loyalty aspect of it, how is it going to sort of enhance that experience? And it's going to do it in a profound way without it being oh, by the way, I've just taken 15% of your bill, sort of, similar to what William was saying earlier. That doesn't add to the experience. But hey, you just found out it's your birthday, we've got 2 glasses of champagne already on the table waiting for you. You feel like $1 million when that happens, and that's the experience that you want to detail and give out to people. And it needs to be that sort of old school hospitality style, but in that way that tech can make it easier and cleaner. That birthday is going to happen on that day regardless, and that person's got that booking because it's there on your system. Just putting the 2 glasses out on the champagne and rewarding it as that person sits down, that feeling is that guest is going to stop looking at you as a business and start supporting you as like a football club or whatever. So if you win, lose or draw, so if you make a mistake, if you don't get it quite right, they're going to then be able to look past that. And that loyalty aspect, is the bit that is going to keep the business going and successful and have a legacy.
Oh, go for it, Lawrence.
Yeah, can I throw in another buzzword? Because I see in hospitality brands also adopting e-commerce more and more. So brands like Ozone, right? They have amazing stores, but they also have an amazing e-commerce platform with Shopify. I think modern loyalty is also unified loyalty. So it's like completely integrated into their either WooCommerce or Shopify, everything that's going on there, and also their stores. I love to see that move forward with more and more brands.
Awesome. I think Lucy's left to chat about this one.
So I was fully listening to everyone then. I forgot I was even left. I think everyone's kind of hit the nail on the head, really. I guess my opinion is that there's not one size fits all. I'm a Pret subscriber, and I quite like knowing that when my little thing counts down and I've got to get 10 visits to get my free something, my Pret perk. I enjoy getting my Pret perk, but would that work if I went to Hawksmoor, Gemma? No, it absolutely wouldn't, would it? Because I'm not going to go to Hawksmoor 10 times in a month. I wish. So it's about balancing the personalization and the surprise and delight, but keeping it on brand, which Elliot, you kind of also were saying a lot around that. I think it's just around really understanding your brand and setting up that loyalty that represents it the best. And there's so many options out there. You mentioned about the silent guest, and I guess putting my airship hat on. It doesn't have to be customers that that have opted in or that have said that they want to hear from you necessarily. But you can still collect that data. It's incredibly valuable to understand your customers' behavior and what they are ordering and how frequently they're visiting you, and just looking at those trends based on their demographic and then potentially using that as an opportunity to broaden that kind of lookalike audience using sort of Meta and things to find people of a similar demographic that like similar things, might have a similar behavior with your brand, and therefore might be interested in the loyalty program. I don't think you should just sort of throw that data away. It's incredibly valuable.
Thank you. Yeah, I think to be fair, non-opt-in data is as important as opt-in data, right? So we talk a lot about utilizing all the data possible. Okay, so thank you all. We're coming very quickly to the end, but this is the next one, which is basically what's actually working right now. So this is one example of a campaign message tech tool process that's currently driving results. So we can sort of zip through that if you like. So I'll start with Elliot, if that's okay.
And all the other ones I had time to think. I don't know if it's anywhere near as good now. Stole everyone else's stuff and reworded it. No, I think the thing is the thing that is working for us is actually just making sure that we have a really clear message. And I think, one brand that does it really well, so that I'm not just plugging myself, is St. John's. St. John's restaurant, you know what you're getting. It's unapologetic. It's very, very much, fun and entertaining, and pushing on different levels of art and stuff like that. And the way they've done that is really clear. They've got an incredible tech stack that sits behind it, pumping out amazing imagery in terms of social media. The product is there, so it's there backed. They've got fabulous wines, and just a fantastic story with Trevor and Fergus Henderson, and that has got a little bit of a cult following. And I think one of the things that we can all learn as restaurateurs and people within the hospitality game is it's still fun. Like a lot of time, we're looking for answers that are getting another product or adding to the tech or whatnot. And actually, if you do something really well and and your team back it, and people actually go there and go, oh, people want to be here, and there's engagement from your KP all the way through to your general manager and your chefs and whatnot, then you've got a really good business. And I think in terms of sort of like tech should then make that a bit sweeter. And I think one of my big pieces, going forward, is great tech means that you're not using it all the time. In fact, you're spending that time with the guest, engaging with them. We all know that the game's got a lot harder with the increase of staff costs. But I think what is really, really powerful is being able to utilize the team to engage with the guests, to enhance their experience, to increase their spend, to increase their amount of visits. And that's what tech should be about.
Great. Let's go to Tommy. I probably know what this is going to be, to be fair, but what's a tool that's currently working in real world for you?
I was listening to Elliot and I forgot to think about my answer. But I'll probably say our recent migration from point of sale to Vitamojo that opened a lot of doors for us. The loyalty that we're launching very, very soon with Gemma, Pay at Table that is coming up soon as well. And then a whole new avenue into the QSR world through kiosk and digital screens and so on. So for us, that was the point of sale.
I thought you would have very much been talking about All Gravy, to be fair, because that's an awesome tech tool that you.
It is. I didn't feel that fitted to this subject though.
Yeah, it's open, so but I thought I'd mention that earlier. Okay, let's pop to David.
Well, I can really talk about what we do, right? So an example of a real world campaign. So I've got numbers. You want numbers? Sales numbers?
Yeah, something that's working.
Is that a bit too
salesy? You can throw it out, but something that's working, really, something that you have a client with a campaign that actually really made a real world difference.
Yeah.
There's lots of things out there, lots of things that happen, lots of things that people do, but it's sometimes challenging to actually get the real world answers to what's actually happening. Is there something that specifically that you've got in mind?
Yeah, very quickly, because I know we're running out of time. Recent case study came back today. So we work with businesses large and small. So this is a small business, 3 sites down in Cornwall, fish and chips, right? Nice and easy, nice and simple. So Gemma mentioned it earlier, we have a bit of machine learning, which predicts future visits. And the critical part of that is we wait and see if the customer turns up roughly when we expect them to. If they do, we leave them alone. If they don't, we can talk to them. So by definition, we're avoiding cannibalizing sales. So we've got that as one of the set of automations running for this business. And just reading my notes here, Adam, over the first 6 months, we've reactivated 101 customers who had been absent for a period of 20 weeks. And combined, the revenue for the first 6 months for that group of 3 small fish and chip shops, 39K. So strip all the talkbox salesy bravado aside. If we look at that for what it is, that's just a really good example of putting some really clever automations in, getting the data set up, connecting them, communicating with the customers in a thoughtful way that doesn't mean you're spamming your database with emails and discounting people that don't need to receive them. And you're only talking to the right people, and the returns are pretty significant, pretty substantial. So that's a pretty cool way of demonstrating some value.
Awesome. I'm back. I dropped off for a second. Amazing. Let's pop to Lucy.
Hello. Yeah, I agree. I think real life case studies or examples are fantastic for operators to really understand how it's being used elsewhere. I've got one that came to mind about Giggling Squid, who are a lovely customer. Thankfully, another customer now that I've moved over to 125. And what they did was they used, they wanted to make sure that they were responding to their guests when they were leaving, poor reviews. But that's also quite a big ask when you've not got the technology behind it and someone championing it to actually respond to that many things coming in. So obviously that's where we help. But we did a case study with them where they responded to 70% of their complaints within 48 hours. With like a personalized message, but actually used our templates to make it nice and quick and easy for the GMs. And what they saw off the back of that, obviously everyone's wish is to get a returning customer, is they actually moved a detractor to being a promoter by getting them back through the door. And about 20% of customers actually did return, which is quite a large number of people considering they'd left a complaint. But again, going back to that like return on investment side of things, we were able, because we captured the dish level data from their EPOS system, we also knew, what was it they didn't enjoy, what was the dish, but we also were able to see what that uplift was on the visit that they did when they came back, which was on average £65 per head for the returning customer. So I guess just again, like looking at the tech and the data and everything, going back to what Tommy said at the beginning, there's so much data out there, but what are you actually doing with it? And this sort of case study shows how important it is to recover customers and actually how easy it can be as well if you've got the right technology.
Awesome. Let's pop to Gemma.
Yeah, I'll be quick. I know you're done. But
we always go over. It's never really like an hour. Do you know what I mean? It's okay. Don't stress.
In terms of real world examples, I kind of went to Marketing Campaign, and what works, free stuff. So in terms of sort of, if you can't have a loyalty program, you don't have the resource or the tech or whatever, majority of people will have an email platform. So sending them welcome sign up incentive, sending them a birthday incentive. In April, I was looking doing my reports earlier this week. We got 110k expected revenue just from sending out welcome emails, and that's a £5 voucher, and in April alone, and then around 30k from a £5 birthday voucher as well. So that would be my hot take on real life examples going well.
Lawrence, have you got a good one to share?
Okay, two, real quick. First of all, what's working is this. To be honest, it almost feels like a community. So the fact that you set up this podcast, that when I'm in London, I'm getting invites from all these partners. Even if we compete, even if we're not working together, everybody has the same idea of, hey, we are in this together. And open APIs, brands want to work with each other. So that's really cool. And that's not something I've seen before. And I've been doing this for a while. And the UK is cool. Second thing is very simple example, is that Fato Mano pizza place, 4, 5, 6 sites. He was opening, so I spoke to Dav. He said, I'm opening a new site in 2 weeks, London Bridge. So help me out. So in 1 hour, we created this design, big QR codes on the door. It's very simple. This QR code, join for free pizza. Like Gemma said, just people want free stuff. And the design looks pretty cool. You can see it on my LinkedIn as well. Anyway, 4,300 people use that. It's wild. I didn't expect that. So what happened is Scan signed up, and like all these journeys started, hey, we're opening in 10 days, 5 days, free pizza, all that. It was absolutely packed. And there's another video, and you see so many paying customers. And it was like, it even blew me away. With a simple QR code, sign up. And now before they even opened that, more than 4,000 people in the CRM. And now I think there are like 8 brands across London. If you walk past it, you see like QR codes doing the same thing. So that was it was his idea, to be honest, and it was
okay. I'm going to pop over to William to get to that comment as well.
Yeah, well, I'm going to give an unsolicited plug for Tenzo because it was the easiest thing to implement across all our sites with the Noble Group. And the thing is for so many years, managers, they're very subjective. Like some people think, oh, yeah, I'm really good at customer service. And other people are saying, oh, I'm good at sales. So you can focus your teams on the same metrics to get the coherent results. And it was so wonderful to see how the managers kind of grew a couple of inches and said, I know what I'm doing now. And it's real-time data. So people can be like, I know what to do for staffing. I know what to do for my forecasting. I know what to do for my stock. I've tried lots and lots of products, but that was the one where you put it in, it fit like a glove right away, and it made it a positive impact right off the bat.
Awesome. I'm just going to do this. Ready? Here we go. I think everyone can hear it. I just want to give everyone a big round of applause. Thank you so much for all coming. It worked. We had a live stream, and I'm so happy to have everyone here to celebrate. I just want to thank Lawrence, Gemma, Lucy, David, Tommy, William, and Elliot, and also a little cameo from Chris. Next time he won't be in the car. But thank you all. Thank you all for coming. I would love to do a wrap up, but you know what? I think everyone's listened probably online enough. So
Good job, Adam.
Thank you so much, guys. Have a great weekend.
Well done.
And be sure to everyone watch it on YouTube and LinkedIn again.
Thank you.
See you guys. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.